What's up folks, Omcatsat here, and we are back. Today we are discussing the animal sentience vote, which took place in Parliament last week.
1997, 20 years ago, the UK government, under its then presidency of the EU, convinced the other 14 member states, as they were then, that EU law should explicitly recognise that animals are sentient beings, not simply agricultural goods, not just bags of potatoes that could be treated with impunity.
Eyes to the right, 295. The nose to the left, 313.
The ayes to the right, 295. The noes to the left, 313. The noes have it.
So, the noes have it. It seems to be all fun and games in Parliament these days, getting to vote on the future of the well-being of the animal kingdom, on behalf of the citizenry, while feeding oneself lavishly from the public trough. I hope I don't come across as too cynical, but really, politicians, for the most part, turn my stomach. It's a case of the blind leading the blind. If you follow the Vedic model, what is pushed is the ideal of a strong monarchy, run by a qualified monarch. Democracy is seen as a second best scenario, but it beggars belief. Take a program like Question Time. The Muppets in the audience, who are so invested in the democratic process, and then, in front of them, a panel of used car salesmen, blagging one and all, with their sketchy sales pitches. I shouldn't be too harsh though, should I? There are some personalities out there, and some people who seem genuine in the sense that they project a sense of belief in their mission. They want to make a better world with the tools that they have at hand. What cracks me up, however, is when the House debates on politicians' salary increases. The place is totally packed, no bull, standing room only. But, when it's time for debating the impact of welfare reform on the disabled, the place is like a ghost town. But I digress. We are meant to be talking about the animal rights vote. The issue arose after a vote last week as part of the process of bringing EU legislation into UK law. Part of that process included a vote that, if passed, would have officially said that the UK recognises animals can be sentient. Some claimed the vote showed that the government didn't care about animals. Supporters of the government claimed that it was the result of fake news. That amendment didn't pass. And it's from that event that the confusion and disputation of this week emerged. The government appears concerned that the reports will damage their popularity, and campaigners are worried that the law now protects animals less than it should. To put it simply, what happened is this: MPs did not vote that animals are not sentient creatures, but neither did they vote for a law that would have recognized them as such. The whole notion of outrage about animal rights is pretty much a non-starter. From a broader perspective, it should be acknowledged that through the democratic process, there have been advances in the standards of human life, and in how we treat animals. Also, in other parts of the world, there are no freedoms, such as freedom of speech. When you weigh up the pros and cons in regard to animal rights between the EU and the UK, there's not a lot in it. And, if you go further away from Europe, you can witness horrendous treatment of animals. So we don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. The hypocrisy, however, is in the selective outrage with regards to issues such as the ivory trade, cosmetic testing on animals, the fur trade, puppy mills, and so on, while maintaining a carnivorous lifestyle which subjects suffering upon billions of animals. A classic example of selective outrage is in regard to the Chinese Dog Meat Festival, where 10,000 dogs are killed for consumption. Yet, on Thanksgiving, 46 million turkeys are killed, and no one bats an eyelid. So, according to the level of awareness, you're going to get differing opinions on the degree of animal rights that should be afforded. But, if you want the spiritual or the Vedic perspective, know this. There are four limbs of religiosity, namely, truth, austerity, purity, and compassion. Truth is killed by gambling. Austerity is killed by intoxication. Illicit sex life destroys purity. And meat eating kills compassion. This is why the spiritually woke don't gamble. They steer clear from all types of intoxication. They only engage in sex life from within the sanctity of wedlock. And they show compassion by observing a plant-based diet. People virtue signal by expressing outrage at animal abuses, such as the fur trade and the ivory trade, as long as it doesn't get in the way of their bacon butties. And by the way, on and for the record, getting a rescue dog from a shelter isn't going to zero out your karmic footprint from the tally of your chicken nuggets, burgers, and tapanaki core beefsteaks in this life or the next. Op, cat, sat.